Righty guys, welcome back to episode number 2 of Project Homecoming. In Sunday morning, cold, so we're trying to get some motivation. Nace next door fitting a new spoolie boy to his VXR, so we're going to get cracking on the engine mounts. As you can see, she's in the hole and she's ready to rock and roll. So all we've got to do now is make a start, cut the inner wing out, get something tacked in there so we can sort of assess our height and check for bonnet clearance, as that's going to be our biggest issue. We don't want to go too low and have the sump rattling around. Right then, through sort of phase 1, note the incredible paint job, cheers boss. As you, sorry, casual dig at your mates. As you can see, we've got the inner wings now notched out. We've got a bit of something just knocked in there, folded up. This is just a sort of first idea of how we're going to do things. What I've got to do now, I'm going to clean the paint off. I'm going to tack it in, and then hopefully that'll be strong enough just to take the weight of it, because it does sit on the inner seal. It is actually bent to shape, so it's not just going to be holding on by 2 tacks and that magnet. So right, let's tack her up and chuck the bonnet on and see what clearance looks like. So anyway guys, here we go, this is it. So engine mount is in now, all finished, faffing around. It's in, strengthens, body's been strengthened, everything's welded in. Grinds the ground back a little bit just to tidy it up, and going to chuck some paint on it now. Just we're going to put some primer on there, maybe even weld through primer, just to make sure it's clean. Once the engine is in and gearbox mount is in, we're going to pull everything back out again, and we're going to paint the bay. So this is just to stop it from getting scabby and horrible. Right, let's chuck some paint on there and chuck the bolt, chuck the engine back in the bay. So, right then, so this is it. Engine's bolted back in again, supporting its own weight. It is just sort of sat on the cross member down there still from the original gearbox. What we want to do is we're going to see if we can make something to go onto the 6-speed gearbox 3-bolt fixing. What we're going to try and do is we're going to try and use a Fiesta ST or a Focus ST mounts. If you see here what we've got, that is the Focus ST. I literally just had one in my hand. Hold that thought, I'll be back. And that is the Fiesta ST mount. Slightly different options to go for. One slightly longer than the other, different widths. We're going to have to make a new mount for in here because it sits too far back, it sits too close to the wing. So there's nothing we're going to be able to do with that really to get those 3 bolts and get it so it mounts up nicely. So we are going to have to push it forwards, but there's no sweats. We can figure all that out. But yeah, next thing is we just need to figure out, next thing is I'm going to cut this battery tray out so we've got a bit more room for activities, and with that out of the way I'll be able to have a bit better plan of what we're going to do. Righty then, as you can see we've done a bit of relieving of the battery tray. In other words, we've hacked it off with a sawzall and a cutting disc, but never mind, eh? It's not going to look pretty at the moment, it's just giving me some room before I go home and letting me have a bit of a couple of hours thinking about what I'm going to do. So as you can see, we've got the st170, nearly said 150 there, I've got too many STs on the brain. We've got the st170 gearbox mount, lower gearbox mount attaching bracket job, offered up over where it lives. You can see the stud there that it bolts to is way too close to the chassis rail. That ain't going to work for that mount. But in true Blue Peter fashion, I have, that's really weird looking through the camera, cut the top off. If we can get that there, that should then allow the standard mount to, oh, that is so weird, slip onto there. With that there, that should give me enough clearance to then make bracketry that goes into the inner wing. What's really, really, really annoying about UC, if you're a Streets fan, you know the context. What's really annoying about that is the fact I ain't got an alley welder. So I'm gonna have to go and see one of my friends who does wheel repairs. See you later. Go and see one of my friends who does wheel repairs and see if he can just slot that on there for me, just so then I can, over Christmas, have a bit of a mock-up and see what we're working with. But if I'm honest, I'm quite liking the look of that. I think that'll work for us. Right then guys, so what we've got here is, we've got our battery tray is out, all cleaned down, prepped, ready to do some strengthening, welding, all that good stuff. What I've done is, yesterday I went to the 170 donor car and I cut off the original gearbox brackets. You can see there how it bolts up. What we need to do is we just need to trim up this section here so that it fits a bit nicer, and we need to reinforce in here as well. You can just about see there's like, that sits in. I don't like this. To me that looks like that's a crushed stone. I didn't like it on the engine side either, so, and we rectified it there, so we're going to do the same here. We're going to fill this piece in, and then we're going to obviously trim this so that it goes in there nicely. We're also going to figure out a way of adding like a strengthening rib onto here so that it has some sort of horizontal force. 2 seconds, I'll just go and find the bracket that goes on, that's the battery tray. Or is it the battery tray? I think it's the battery tray. It's the battery tray where the airbox goes off it. And then I'll show you what Ford did there too. Right, so I found that mount now. I know I had it somewhere. So this is the mount that Ford have. You can see the 4 holes, 1, 2, 3, 4. That goes through the gearbox mount as well. So we're gonna make something like this here to go up towards the turret for the shocks, just to add just that little bit of, I fucking did it again, horizon line, vertical, add some sort of vertical strength up to stop. So if you can imagine that's the mount, it's going to try and pull down with the weight of the gearbox. So we just want to add something to strengthen that top side up and just stop it trying to pull out the bottom of the car. But yeah, right, let's get to making and get to filling some pieces in. But before I do absolutely anything, I need coffee in my life. Christ, I'm tired. Right then guys, it's New Year's Day and we're back in here getting it done. So today is New Year's Day morning, and hopefully this afternoon it will be up. So where we are is, you can see our mount is now positioned up. What I've done is I've put weld-through primer on the body, if you're wondering why it looks like it's painted and ready to weld. So underneath that box, I've all cleaned down now, so there's no paint or underseal or anything on there. So I don't want it to rust, so we've just put weld-through primer on it, just to sort of treat it, so to look after it. We've got our focus mount on there, and yeah, now I'm just about ready to start burning it in. Hopefully I've got enough gas. My regulator's been playing up and I think it's been bleeding off for it. But yeah, let's get it welded in and we can get to editing this video. very nice. So then, right, we're all done. It's in. There's no jacks. There's no, where's it gone? There's no cradle. It's down there. She's in, supporting her own weight. As far as engine gearbox mounting, we are essentially done. We're not done, but we're basically there. We've got to tie. We've got to make a new torque mount for the lower, but on our trip to Autosport in a couple of weeks' time, hopefully we're going to get all our spherical joints and all that sort of jazz, so we can make something up. I don't know why I'm really handy today. I'm doing a Lily impression. Sorry, that's a bit of an inward joke. If you know her, she's all arms and all hands all over the place. I'll cross them, so I'm a bit more controlled. Yeah, so we're in, and I'm happy, really happy. New Year's Day, we come in and we got it finished. So job's good. And next jobs up will be, I don't really know where I'm going to go with it next, to be honest. We've got a lot of things to sort out, like alternator location, exhaust manifold, radiator, and then there's the obvious big job at the wiring, but all of that is still in the focus donor car, so I've got to go and chase that out. Thanks for watching. Yeah, we'll get on to the next episode soon. For some more in-depth pictures and stuff like that of what's been going on, do follow us on Instagram, just Stitch Motorsport, and hopefully you can see some more details of what's been happening. But yeah, hope you enjoyed. We'll catch you in a bit.